This is Jasmine with Listen to Your Single Friend. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the lonely. Hi, friends. This is Jasmine Caress. I wanted to welcome you back to the show. This is the last week in this crazy ass year. So I hope that you guys had a great holiday, a Merry Christmas. All my people were out of town. I just went to my hometown a few weeks ago. So I honestly spent Christmas solo. I just didn't really want to fuss with the Rona and all of that. So I just opened all my gifts. I did mess up my meal because my air fryer burned my breakfast. I forgot to take the meat out of the freezer for Christmas dinner. So yeah, I I was a mess, but overall I had a great day. I watched Wonder Woman 1984, which people are dragging, by the way. It's really not that bad. I got wine drunk and then I got into bed. So I hope your holiday was as comfortable and cozy as mine was. I wanted to quickly thank you guys for just rocking with me. This podcast is still pretty new, and I just hit 1,000 downloads yesterday. So, my mind is blown. So, I just feel really blessed that you guys like to listen to me talk smack and tell all my business. And I also want to shout out to my producer, Mr. Big, for being a great sounding board and giving me ideas and suggestions for the show and for the platform. Y'all, mark my words, this show is hitting big in 2021. I have so much planned and I'm so excited. But I just want to thank you guys just for rocking with me this early. So let's keep the conversation going. Instagram and Facebook is Listen to Your Single Friend. Twitter is Your Single, FRND. Make sure to tune into our accounts on Fridays for Screenshot Fridays because it's lit. Last week, I told y'all lasses that I was not doing Screenshot Friday because it was Christmas. It didn't occur to me until Christmas Eve, oh my God, Friday is Screenshot Friday, but Friday is also Christmas. And I told y'all I wasn't doing Screenshot Friday, and y'all had a fit. But Screenshot Friday is back in action this week. So join us there on the Instagram account. We also have a YouTube channel, Listen to Your Single Friend, where I'm also uploading the episodes. As you know, Listen to Your Single Friend is a book. So go ahead to the website, listentoyoursinglefriend.com, and give us your email address so you can be the first to find out about release dates, anything that's up and coming with the book, and just stay tuned for that going forward. All right, guys, now it's time for our trivia. I'm going to throw it back to the trivia from last week to get you guys your answer. I'll play the clip now. Our research found that over 51% of people in relationships dated their partner for more than blank blank before they agreed to commit to one another. So, are the options 6 weeks, B, 3 months, C, 6 months, or D, 9 months? Over 51% of people in relationships, how long did they date their partner before they agreed to a commitment? The answer is actually B, 3 months, which I think is pretty standard. I don't like how people are always doing this. We've been talking for 6, 8 months. We've been talking for a year. What the fuck is talking? I cannot stand all this new millennium dating stuff. I usually say I can figure out where it's going with a guy after 3 dates or 3 weeks. So, threes are definitely a thing for me, at least. So, the answer is 3 months, which I think is pretty standard. Getting to know someone before you make a commitment. Now it's time for our quote of the day. I'm always going to start you guys off with some positive vibes and good energy, especially this episode because it's the last episode of the year. So this is the quote of the day. When you start to feel like things should have been better this year, remember the mountains and valleys that got you here. They are not accidents, and those moments weren't in vain. You are not the same. You have grown and you are growing. You are breathing. You are living. You are wrapped in endless, boundless grace. And things will get better. There is more to you than yesterday. Y'all, that almost made me emotional. Like, it has absolutely been such a hard ass year. But we're like shaking it off and we're giving ourselves and giving each other grace. That's something I'm going to talk about in this episode. And we're just being open minded for what's to come. I just really, really, really like this quote because like we acknowledge what happened. We know it's been a hard year, but we are growing and we are changing. And, there's plenty more fabulousness to come. So that is your quote of the day. Now it's time for Goals and Goofies. In this segment, I talk about anything I have discovered on the internet or something that went viral or like celebrity news, gossip. Oh, FYI, really quickly, I mentioned this a few weeks ago. It has absolutely been confirmed that Rihanna is dating, oh God, what's his name? Travis Scott, I think. No, ASAP Rocky. It is absolutely been confirmed that Rihanna is dating ASAP Rocky. There are photos of them everywhere. He better treat my girl right. He has made some less than stellar comments in the past. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But just a quick follow up to some prior goals. I said we was going to keep a lookout for that. So real quick, I'm going to start with Goofies first. This one came from Reddit actually, but it made it to the internet or made it to Twitter and kind of got all over the place. So she's 27, her boyfriend's 27. They've been together 2 years, casually dating. Then when the Rona happened, she ended up moving in with him. So they've been living together since March. Her job has a lot of projects that require planning, budgeting, organizing the whole nine, which she's doing from the house. He's been working home as well, but they each have their own office. And sometimes they chit chat throughout the day. So that's just her setting the stage. She was like, yesterday afternoon, we were sitting watching TV when he said, "Oh, by the way, my mom wants to come dress shopping with you. I don't have any events or anything coming up, obviously." So I was confused and asked him for what. He said, "Haha, very funny." And after a bit of back and forth, um, apparently back in August, when they were watching a romantic movie, he said, "Hey, do you think you would marry me?" And I said, "Sure." He took that as an engagement. Since it was our first time ever discussing marriage, I assumed he was just filling it out. Since then, I guess he's assumed I've been wedding planning, and whenever he's wandered into my office and said things like, "How's it going? Have you worked on the budget? Is everything coming together?" He's been talking about the wedding and not my job like I assumed he was. We had a long fight about this. He's furious that I apparently pay so little attention. I didn't even realize he proposed, but also that he's told his whole family about our engagement and doesn't want to backtrack now. I'm furious because A, I feel like this is a huge communication on his part, and B, I genuinely thought we were, or he genuinely thought we were engaged. He's put in absolutely no effort into anything. I don't have a ring. He doesn't have a ring. He hasn't contributed a single opinion about this planning I've been doing. Sure, I like planning, but I have no interest in planning an entire wedding 100% by myself. And if he expects this, I'm not sure if this is the right move. So that is what she wrote on Reddit about this situation. So basically, it's like a surprise proposal. Um, yeah. I don't know what it is about this Rona that just like has men with the audacity and has their mind like mumbled. But in what world you're sitting on a couch watching a movie and you're just like casually, "Oh, would you like," the way that let me read back exactly what he said. "Hey, do you think you would marry me?" Like you're not asking me to marry you. You're saying, "Do you think you would?" Like, yeah, I think I would. I mean, I'm with her 100%. Like, of course she gave the proper answer to the question. Yeah, I think I would. But then she said that they never even discussed marriage before, and he was just, like she said, filling it out. And I think that's fair. I say all the time, there definitely should be a discussion had initially before any proposal. Remember, I'm an event planner, so there definitely should be, a discussion had before actual activities take place. But then he didn't even have a ring, and he's telling his family that they're engaged. Like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And then he's making it seem like she just not paying attention. Like, what kind of lazy shit is that? Like, I just wish I know that now I don't feel like women ask for a lot, but like, because I was just having a conversation with a friend the other day about what she expects for her proposal. Like, just ask questions and listen, like, and put your own flavor and flair in there and personality into that. But like, the fact that you assumed like that was a proposal. I mean, he clearly didn't even get down on his knee. You didn't get on your knee. You don't have a ring. You casually just said, hey, you think you want to marry? Like, excuse me, what? Like, so confused, so confused. And more power to her that she's thinking about going through with this anyway. But this is so low value and low effort. Like, moving in, I am not anti moving in, but I do think that this pandemic has just like made men's general laziness get worse. But that's just no excuse, because you did none of the things. Like, there are certain things that happen at proposal, sitting down on the couch casually and chilling and just be like, oh, you think we would do this? Like, the fuck? And then you're telling your family, like, well, this is happening. Okay, so go and get me a fucking ring and go get on your knees, boy. Like, I don't understand, like, why he thought that this was okay. So, sorry, sis, but this is definitely some goofy shit. It is miscommunication. So, I always ask people, are these things breakable offenses? Like, we would have to be in premarital counseling by now, because I don't understand why you think that that was. I mean, I guess he's never going to propose again if they do get married, but just like, why do you think that's okay? Because then my bigger question is, what else are you telling me but not really telling me? You know what I mean? Like, the whole communication thing is very weird, and I think they need to get that shit figured out before they do anything else. So that is Goofies of the week. This surprise random ass proposal. All right, now it's time for goals. This one is going to be a little bit controversial, but I don't care. So this clip went viral. The podcast is called The Gemini Scorpio. And I found the clip all over the Twitters. So basically, one of the podcast hosts, I just like scoped their Instagram. Her name is Jasmine too, which is funny. So she's talking about how she was headed out on a first date with this guy, and she told him, I need to run, to McDonald's to get something for my kid, so she can get her kid dinner. And so the guy pulls up, they get the McDonald's, and when it's time to pay, basically the guy looks to her and she told her co-host basically, like, I'm not interested in dealing with a guy like that at all. So one of the guy hosts, he's like, why is that even his problem? You know what I mean? And then the other girl host is like, well, she tells the story about how, she mentioned something to like her boss about her daughter having like a slumber party or something like that. And the boss said, oh, I'll pay for the pizza. So the reason that I bring this up is because, first of all, it's so polarizing on the socials, but I agree with my fellow Jasmine, because at the end of the day, a generous man is a generous man. Like, I do have questions. Why wasn't the kid fed before the date? Like, why y'all already together? You pulling up with him? Like, I have questions logistically. But keeping it in the scope of looking for a partner, I have said this before. I want a man that's generous. If we're out and if I'm out with my homegirl at the bar and we're at happy hour and a dude I'm dating pulls up on us, like, I'm not telling you to buy my homegirl a drink, but I want to date the kind of man that it's just going to do that. I want to date the type of man that is generous. It could be a freaking, $3 margaritas or whatever. Man, I miss going outside. Oh, happy hour was great. But you know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't. It's not about the money. Like, the McDonald's was fucking $5. So to her point, yes, she has a right to say, I knew I wasn't fucking him at that point. She absolutely has a right to say that because you tripping. You about to spend at least $100 on this date. Like, at least. And you up here like being funky. It's just I call it a show of good faith. Like, I'm out with my girl and you pull up on us and you buy my girl a drink. That's a show of good faith. Like, cause now I'm really feeling you. I'm like, damn, like, you got me looking good in front of my homegirl. Like, now she on your team. Anytime I bring you up, like, oh, where's your friend? Like, it's just a show of good faith. Like, I'm interested in you and I want you to have a good time and I want you to have a good experience. Like, and so I think that, a lot of people are honing in on the whole, aspect of, like I said, the logistics, which again, do have questions about. But at the end of the day, like, he couldn't just cash out that funky ass $5. Like, it became something that it didn't need to because all you had to do was pay. Ain't nobody asked you to be the fucking stepfather. Like, ain't nobody say that this was going to be a regular thing to the good sis Jazz. Like, I would hope that this is not a regular thing. But at the end of the day, it was $5. Like, what is you doing, dude? Like, it's not about the money. It's just about it's about the character. I think that's what I'm looking for. And it's just like, you can't pay no funky ass $5. Like, and a lot of guys are like, well, it's GP, it's principle, it's principle. Like, really, you going down over $5? $5 is going to let you stand in the way of what could be a potentially great date, you know what I mean, or a great potential partner? Because that's the thing. Let's say that he didn't, let's say that this whole scenario didn't happen. Like, at some point the kid is going to be introduced to his life. So it's like, you got all these like hangups about little shit, and it's just like, she is a package. Mothers are a package, and you're gonna have to deal with the kid at some point, my guy. So y'all ain't gonna like it, but I don't care. This is goals because Jasmine was like, no. Like, I ain't feeling it. Like, she said she was not interested in the guy after that. And I agree. It's just a turn off. Like, I don't like a cheap man at all. And cheap and broke are not the same thing. Let's be clear. There are some broke men who are very generous, who will give you their last. Now, they're not financially savvy, but generous. You know what I mean? Being broke and being cheap ain't the same. And I feel like he wanted to like put his foot down and make it a principle. And it's like, it's $5. Like, I don't know where they were going for the restaurant, but you about to drop some money on this date. So like, the amount of money, this is less than what you about to tip. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. This is goals. This is goals. Like, I know what I want in a man, and the whole idea of that would have been a turn off. Like, I give the example of like being at the bar, like with my homegirl, and like if a guy pulled up on me and my homegirl, like, I'm not going to not fuck with him because he didn't buy her a drink. But damn if he does. Like, but it's getting to the point at my big age, it's kind of normalized in my world now. Like, because I'm a little bit older, but like, it's definitely brownie points if you pulling up and you showing everybody a good time. I like that. I think that's great for a potential partner. And I think it's definitely goes. You definitely get brownie points for just not being petty and not being cheap. So that's goals of the week. Oh, real quick. I need y'all to get on Netflix and go watch Bridgerton, okay? Listen, I don't even know what to say about this show. It's like, I didn't watch Gossip Girl. I didn't see Pride and Prejudice, but everybody's saying it's a mix between those two shows. But it's just messy, and it's like, it's 1800s. They're Brits. Lord knows I'm obsessed with the Brits. It's black folks on the show, which is great. It's a great diverse cast. It actually reminds me of Brandy's Cinderella, Brandy and Whitney Houston when I did Cinderella. And like there were a bunch of people of different races, but it was like not, it was not overstated. You know what I mean? Like this person is of this race and da 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 da. Like it reminds me of Brandy in that aspect where the different races and the blending of those races is not a theme in the show. And I love that. Like I absolutely love that. That show is so fucking good. It's 8 episodes. I binged it. I started it in the evening with my homegirl. We ended up watching 5 episodes and I got home and I was up until 3 a.m. finishing this series. Like the lead guy, his name is Reg- his name is Reggae Jean. And just a beautiful man. Oh my God, y'all. The sex scenes, Shonda Rhimes, it's from Shonda Land, and y'all know I'm a Scandal fan. Like Shonda Rhimes did the damn thing, like, or her production company did the damn thing with this. Is Bridgerton's actually based off a book, but her production company did this. Like Shonda is not held down by the rules of primetime television on ABC. Like the sex scenes are insane, but there's a beautiful love story on top of this that I very, very much enjoyed. So that's also my goes of the week. Bridgerton, like the Duke of Hastings. I'm so in love right now. I'm probably about to watch it again after I record this episode. Like it's that good. So other goes is watch Bridgerton on Netflix because yeah, it's awesome. All right, y'all, let's get into the main segment. So this episode is going to be like hella good vibes, good energy, zen. Like this is episode 7 and I'm so happy. It's the final episode of the year 2020. 7 is my favorite number. My birthday's on the 7th. 7 is a holy number. It's just a really good number. And ending the year on this episode 7 on this number just gives me like such good vibes and such happiness. Like it gives me good juju for what's to come in 2021. So first I'm going to talk about, you in 2021, and then I'm going to talk about dating. So we're going to segue. We have made it through a tough ass year. Like, we really been stuck in the house and wearing masks since March, y'all. March. And it still hasn't stopped. Like, it feels really, really surreal. This pandemonium has yet to see an end 9 months later. This ratchet ass election and raggedy ass politicians that won't give the citizens relief has been stressing everybody out. There's systemic and social issues like police brutality, racial injustice, racism. And all of this is on top of whatever personal issues you've already been faced with, in your personal life, whether that's, regular life, work, love, friendships, whatever. Like all of our personal struggles were magnified even more. Like I keep saying this, but I feel like the year of 2020 was a year of revelation. Like so much was revealed to us this year about like who we are, our own resilience, our strengths, our courage. And, we just saw a very vulnerable society this year. And this year it just hit different. It just hit very different. So I view this as a year of revelation. I feel like a lot of things were shown to me that just helped me moving forward and, figuring out what my path is. So let's take a deep breath. Like I read somewhere, I don't remember where I read this, but like I just be having a lot of anxiety about like every little thing or whatever. And so I was reading this thing and it said something about taking a deep breath, and when you exhale, you're exhaling all the bad energy, all the anxiety, all the drama, all the whatever. And when you're inhaling Like they said, think in your mind that you're inhaling like golden rays and sunshine and joy. Like you're inhaling all the good things and you're exhaling all the bad things. So, let's just take a deep breath. This year was some shit, okay? Um, One thing about the new year that always bothers me is there are always naysayers during this like week after Christmas and week before the new year. Like, there are certain people who I can guarantee you every year they're going to be like, look at y'all making all these resolutions just so you can go back and, like do the same thing y'all were doing before. Stop wasting your time with these resolutions. Y'all ain't going to change. Like, don't be that person. Don't be a hating ass bitch. Like, I can't stand that. Some people just find so much joy in being like contrarian and being the funny guy or like getting clout or whatever. Like, I just hate that. It's just such an ugly spirit and ugly energy. Like, you do this every year. You don't want to say every year, y'all always on the same stuff. Like, you need to do better. You can take some advice from the people who are doing New Year's resolutions. So just please, don't do that especially this year. This year was, oh, it was just so sucky. Like, don't add more negativity and more yuckiness on top of what was already not a good year for a lot of people. If people want to make goals for themselves and they just don't meet them or they fall off, like, why is that even something that like you care about or want to joke about? Like, as we saw in 2020, we can make all the plans that we want. Like, this is supposed to be my travel year, my grown and sexy year. I was supposed to have, like, this is supposed to be my whole year, okay? Like, but shit happens. Like, I am not judging anybody who, is starting this new year, turning this new page, starting this new chapter with goals that they may not meet. Because as we saw, shit happens and it is what it is. So I'm rooting for your success in your goals, and I'm also rooting for your flexibility. And you'll bounce back when you get thrown curveballs. Like, we still here and we still moving and we still keeping it pushing regardless of everything that got thrown our way this year. So please just don't be that guy or that gal that's just like, ugh, your New Year's resolutions are stupid. Like, have your resolutions, mind your business, okay? Now, as I like center myself and I prepare for the new year, like I have started a tradition of doing a staycation. I probably won't do one this year, but my staycations have been amazing. So it actually started in 2018 when I actually started writing a book, Listen to Your Single Friend. It was supposed to be a writer staycation, but it really like just turned into self-care. So like I ordered room service, I drank hella champagne, I watched the ball drop. I probably wrote one paragraph before I passed out. And then like I went to breakfast the next day, obviously outside was open, so I went to breakfast, had the full breakfast spread, I went to gym the next morning, and then I just went back home. Like, and it was just really, really amazing. And I felt good. It just made me feel good. Just having some time to like myself and, just dedicating some time to some self-care. Like as the years have gone on, like, I'll do face mask and, just little stuff like that or whatever. But it's always just a fresh start for me. And it just makes me feel ready, like to conquer whatever's thrown my way in this new year. There is nothing wrong with a reset. As you create a space for reflection, like whether that's vision boards or, celebrations, journaling, working on your new business, bringing in the new year with friends and family, like whatever that looks like for you, give yourself grace. You didn't finish that business idea this year. You didn't meet those body goals. You went on maybe 2 dates this year and are having, you're having a mean ass dry spell. Like, forgive yourself. like you said, it was just a very weird year for a lot of people. Give yourself some grace. You didn't meet those goals, and that's okay. There's always next year. There's always tomorrow. There's always next week. Like, give yourself some grace. I got a call from someone just recently, like beating themselves up about something that happened a long time ago that they couldn't affect and they couldn't change now. 2020 beat my ass, okay? And I'm not putting myself in a mental position to keep beating my own ass even more. Like, I'm not signing up for this at all. So I'm not getting into that mental space of like what didn't happen this year. You know what I mean? Or goals that I set for myself and I didn't meet. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm tired of y'all little assholes on Twitter talking about what's gonna be different for you when the quarantine is over. What have you done? Like, listen, I have two businesses. I'm definitely a part of LLC Twitter, but some of y'all are just jerks. It has been a very hard year for people, and I'm not gonna get into this mental space of like, I could have done this, I could have done that, I should have done better. Listen. I'm here and I'm healthy, and that's just gonna be what it is. So giving yourself grace in 2020 slash 2021. It just really looks like being nice to yourself. And I know that I am very hard on myself just because I'm me and I'm a Virgo and I'm always like in my head about stuff. Like, I'm always like, why did I do this? Why did I say that crazy thing 4 years ago to somebody who probably doesn't remember me? Like, stop beating up on yourself. Just be nice to yourself. Like, talk to yourself in the mirror the way you want people to talk to you. Like, I read that in this book. Basically, like, you don't let people talk to you any kind of way. So why do you look in the mirror and like talk to yourself? Or why are you in your head, talking to yourself any kind of way, saying that, you're not successful or you're not this or you're not that? Like, don't create that space in your mind, because like sometimes when we don't feel good on the inside, it causes us to settle for less than treatment, or we think that, we don't deserve the best. And I'm here to say you deserve it all. Like, but you have to believe that. Like, I can tell you over and over and over that you are beautiful, that you are amazing, that you deserve every single thing that the world has to offer, but you have to believe it too. Self-doubt and negative thinking puts us in such a negative space, like it just gives such a bad energy. Like, I want all the good energy in 2021, and I'm not bringing any negative mindsets, negative thoughts with me. I'm not carrying that baggage. I'm not carrying that load anymore because I don't have to. And I'm also mindful about the people that I keep around. Like, I am definitely, as y'all can probably tell, I'm definitely the keep it real friend in my group, but I keep people around me who are very, very positive and very, very energetic. Like, because I need that. Like, sometimes I get in my head and they're just like, can you be nice? You know what I mean? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, I have friends who they keep me grounded. And I also am very mindful of what I am digesting in the media. Because child, comparison is a thief of joy. Like, for real, getting on social media and seeing things, like, it's still hella matching PJs, babies, engagements all on my timeline right now. Like, it really hasn't phased me that much, but as I mentioned before, this can stir up discontentment. And so if I feel the need to take a break or to change what I'm consuming, like, that matters. Like, I'm very mindful, especially like TV shows and movies, about like what I'm letting in, what kind of energy, I'm letting in. But don't like fall victim, to goals and aspirations unmet this year. Like, what is for you will not miss you. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, what is for you will not miss you. Everything, everything, everything. I don't care what you believe in. Like, everything happens for a reason. And so, religious or not, most people can agree on that. And you have nothing but space and opportunity to just like grab this world by the balls and make it what you want to make it, or just decide, hey, like sometimes the world can be a shitty place, but I'm not going to succumb to that energy. Like, I'm going to be the one putting out positive spirits and positive vibes into the world. Um, and celebrate what went well. Like, I have a gratitude journal that makes me write 3 things down a day that I'm happy about. And sometimes that's hard. But it keeps you in a mindset of not always looking at the bad things or the things that didn't happen for you or the things that you didn't do or weren't able to do. So I really love my gratitude journal. And I think that, that's something that if you don't already, hell, even just keep a notes app, like keep a note in your phone just saying like, I really really like this, and come back to it, because like we have a tendency to dwell on the bad stuff way too much, and we we focus on that way too much, and we internalize that way too much. And 10 people can say that you're beautiful, but if one person says, ugh, you think you're all that, you ain't even that cute, you gonna remember that last comment. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something about like negative things that we tend to really, really hold on to. So that gratitude journal is saying, hey, fuck you and fuck these negative thoughts. Like, to all the negative thoughts that you have, keeping gratitude in the forefront of your life, like, will definitely start knocking out all that negative energy and all like the negative mindsets. So, this year was tough. The fact that we made it here is a win, in my opinion. Everything else is a bonus. Like, we here, hell, even if you do got the corona, you here, okay? We made it. We made it. And that is enough. Everything on top of that is a bonus. You got a new job, you kept your current job, you got in a relationship, you left a relationship. We're here, okay? And there is always going to be work to do. So I do want to kind of address that as well. Like, a part of like reflection is not only celebrating those wins, but it's also like looking at opportunities to like be our best selves. Like, I am an evaluation kind of person in general. Like, my exes will tell you I'm always like, how are things going, how can we do better, whatever the case may be. I'm always looking to like track progress, and I just like making lists because I'm a Virgo. So the new year is always so fun for me. I'm always that one that's like, all right, y'all, tell me what went well. Tell me what we're focused on next year. Like, I'm always that person. And so that's why I think it's really important to look back on the good times that we had. And I also don't believe in this idea that you have to be or have to have completely worked on yourself to get a partner. But I would be remiss if I didn't address that working on yourself does make you a better partner, and it helps you put your best foot forward while you're dating. Like, you have to work on becoming a better you for you, though. Like, it is specifically for you. It's not like I'm doing my fitness goals because I want a man. Like, I'm doing this because no, like, you're working to become a better you for yourself. And everybody just reaps the benefits of that. Like, hey, I'm not as angry as I used to be. You're welcome. Like, everybody gets to reap the benefits from this, okay? So, like, definitely evaluate yourself and evaluate things that have happened. Get that therapy, unpack that baggage, leave that man alone, like I said in the last episode. I almost named this episode 2020, the year of toxic. Like, I definitely entertained men that I shouldn't have. I refuted connections that didn't serve me. Like, I had my weak moments. I lost my temper. I set myself up for failure just by having too many expectations of, the guys that I was dating. And dating just sucked this year in general. And we were just trying to get by, y'all. So, again, I'm giving myself grace. My bad. Like, whatever I did, like, I'm giving myself grace. But going into the new year We know what we know. So it's no excuse. I am gonna, be a little bit hard about that. Like, we know that the outside is closed. We know that some men are lazy. We know that audacity is at an all-time motherfucking high with these men. And we know that these men got us fucked up sometimes. These are all things that we know going into this new year. But you have to look at this information as a blessing because you already know what to expect in 2021 because we already just seen it happen in 2020. So how you about to act? We got thrown for a loop this year and we learned to navigate dating while simply surviving. We survived and we are doing okay. And so, as we segue into like the dating aspect of this, like just kind of keep in mind, some of that evaluation that you've done, and how that's going to affect you in your dating life next year. So, really quick, I'm going to do some quick hits. I'm going to do some quick hits for um really quick, I'm going to do some quick hits for winning at dating in the new year. Something that I love to do in the new year is come up with a theme. Like, I usually have a word or a phrase I can easily remember each year. I don't remember what it was for 2020. Um, like, yeah, I don't remember, but it's supposed to be something really easy and simple that you can remember. So for 2021, I already know my word is going to be grace because I need to give some to myself and I need to remind myself to give that to others, especially in dating. Like, I'm focused next year on having a more positive experience in my dating life. Like, I'm learning not to assume negative intent with people in general, but especially with men. Like, but this is also why I don't like texting y'all, because a lot of times these miscommunication be because your ass should have picked up the phone. But I am completely like being a hypocrite right now. Next year, positive experiences. And I'm just learning, not to kind of lead with like my own baggage. Past experiences in your dating history, it can leave you like a tad bit jaded. So walking into every new situation like, "Ugh, let's see how long you last," or "I'm not here to play games, so what you gonna do for me?" You know what I mean? Like, that's not promoting a positive spirit towards dating. Like, I'm more focused on what can each interaction like give me? Like, what can each interaction with these men that I'm dating teach me about myself or about the world? What new things and experiences can I be introduced to? So, in order to have that positive mindset, you do have to just kind of work on, shutting out a lot of those negative thoughts that we may have. We do get frustrated and we do get fucking tired of dating. And it's absolutely okay to take a break from dating. But at the same time, we definitely, still want to promote and keep a positive mindset. So I actually have a playlist dedicated to positive dating specifically. I have a playlist dedicated to positive vibes and positive energy, but I also have a separate one specifically as it relates to my dating life, which a lot of people don't know. So the playlist is like very, very lighthearted. Like, this ain't the deep cuts from the 90s to get me in my feels. Ain't no Adele. Like, it's not the ultimate heartbreak album that is Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Like, it's very lighthearted pop, up tempo, or even, some mellow R&B, or sweet songs that just make me feel good and just make me feel positive about dating. Like, I deserve the feelings that Selena Gomez sang about in Vulnerable, or like this sweet surprise of a connection in the song Who Knew by Chloe and Haley. Like, I deserve that. I deserve that energy. Like, music is the way I connect to the world, so it works for me. But if you have to, like, write down positive vibes for your dating life, keep a list and just go back to it. Keep like um quotes on the wall or on the mirror or whatever, just to keep you, affirmed and in good spirits about your dating life. You could also set like random days in your calendar. So, like your calendar will pop up on your phone if you set like an appointment in the calendar. Just put a positive phrase on there and it'll randomly just come up. Do what works for you, but, definitely have something prepared. Like, whenever I find myself feeling hopeless or feeling like being mean to men because I'm tired of this shit. I sometimes I just need to pick me up and I just go to my playlist and I just get all the positive vibes and all the feels. But whatever works for you, just make sure to have a fail-safe plan just to lift your spirits up about dating, and about the love life that you want and you deserve. The last thing is, like, every year for the past few years, I have set challenges for myself. One in particular is a dating competition. So y'all know I like games, okay? So I required myself, this started a few years ago. I required myself to go on one date a month with a new guy each month. So that's it. Like, it's really, really simple. But because I had like a full-time job along with doing weddings on the side, which, most weddings are on weekends, I would like casually dabble with dating, but I was like really not committed. Like, I knew I wanted a partner, but I was absolutely half-assing my love life because I just had so much going on. So like this little competition like helped me prioritize my love life at least a little bit once a month. Like, some women are going to listen and be like, "Oh, that's easy. Once a month." You know what I mean? Like, I can do that. And that's good. Like, if the task seems simple, like, keep at it. Increase the value. Dating is a numbers game, and as women, we have the hard task of being nice and positive. Like, that's the hardest thing for us to do, is just to be nice sometimes, because we're just so sick of the bullshit. Um, and like I said, I know it's hard, but that really is the worst part of this little competition is each month just saddling up and finding a new person to date. Like, with it being a panoramic, once a month is very, very reasonable, and it gives you time to air out because it has to be different guys. Like, I mean, obviously, if you got a boyfriend, that's different, but like going on a date, like with a different guy every month, it just keeps you out there, like in the proverbial streets, you know what I mean? So, for the purposes of 21, I'll probably include virtual dates. I kind of definitely fell off this year, but I probably will include virtual dates and not random FaceTimes. Those do not count as virtual dates. Like, go to listentoyoursinglefriend.com. I did a whole blog post about dating during the quarantine. But actual planned virtual dates will probably count for me. But like, this is just definitely something fun and something that'll kind of, keep you on your toes. Like, and before you know it, you've realized, damn, the month is halfway over and I still ain't talked to nobody. Like, I'm still not being nice to these men. So it really does make you like really, really get involved into your dating life. Like, I told my homegirl about this a year or so ago. So she did the competition with me this year. Like, she joined in. And so, sometimes it's cool to bring a friend in and hold each other accountable. Like, and we kind of made it a competition between each other. All right, girl, I got my date for February. Where's your date for February? Like, so it was really, really fun. But, if you have to bring in a friend to, hold each other accountable, that's completely okay. Like I said, this year was weird. So plenty of people are still making connections in their dating lives though, because they're still trying. Taking a break because you're working on yourself is not the same as completely tapping out of dating because you just don't want to try. So let's do this. Like, my head is back in the game. I'm ready to have a good time and to have fun. And I really, really hope that you guys are excited about this and, take down some of these tips to prepare yourself for, your personal life and for dating in 2021. 2021 will be absolutely beautiful because we've had so many hurdles this year. There is nothing but good ahead of us. Like I said, just lead with grace and positivity. Work on making those insides just as beautiful as the outsides, and just stay positive and lean on each other. Lean on me, lean on your friends. I think 2021 is going to be hella lit, and I'm super excited for everyone's glow up. It's going to be a new year, but the new bay is you, okay? Now it's time for your dating tip of the week. Don't internalize your dating experiences. Men be having nothing but the audacity, especially in the good year 2020. And it's not going to stop when the outside opens. Honestly, it's going to get worse. So a man asking you to come over and chill or be friends with benefits, that speaks to his character, not yours. Like, women get so riled up, like, why does he think he can say this to me, and he has a lot of nerve asking me if I want to be fuck buddies and all that. That's on him, not you. Like, block, ignore, keep it moving, boo. Like, so many women get so upset about this. Do not internalize this. It has nothing to do with you. He's asked 10 women, can they be fuck buddies? It's not personal. So we're moving on from that. We're not internalizing these things, like, that don't diminish my value because the dude is a fuck boy. So I'm making room for love, and I'm making room for things that serve me. So that's your dating tip of the week. Don't internalize your dating experiences. Now it's time for Down in the DMs. In this segment, I answer any questions that you guys have in general about dating or relationships, and respond to any of your letters. So if you need advice or have any questions, feel free to email listentoyoursinglefriend@gmail.com with Down in the DMs in the subject. So this week I got a email from, we'll call her Daphne, because if you watch Bridgerton, yes, I'm obsessed, y'all. So I'm gonna call her Daphne. So Daphne has a dilemma. She says, I need some advice. I've been dating this guy for 2 months and things were going great. Conversation was great. He's a gentleman. The sex was out of this world. We were together 24/7. Then he went to visit his home country for a few weeks during the holidays. He told me before he left that we would talk once a week. He made it seem like the 1 week thing was due to the fact that he would not have service or be able to talk internationally while he was gone. The thing is, WhatsApp tells you the last time a person has logged in and when they read your messages. He read both of my messages and then started posting pictures on Instagram when he arrived. I sent another message, and he realized that I was upset that I hadn't heard from him, and he eventually called me. He acknowledged that he knew that I was upset. He said that he knew that I was upset and apologized, but he said, I did tell you that we would talk once a week, and I've only been gone for 5 days. He said he didn't have service, and now that he does, he will do better, and we moved on in the conversation. He still logs into WhatsApp and posts to IG, but he is keeping to the 1 week agreement and has been texting me here and there. But I am still upset, and I keep it short but friendly when we talk. He comes back in 2 weeks, and I just don't know how to handle things when he gets back. Communication is important to me, and we talked all day, every day when he was here. Also, when I went out of town domestically, he was on my line all day asking about what was I doing, what was I eating, send me pictures of my plate, am I free to FaceTime, etc. I really still want to be with him, but I want to make him pay for what I feel like was ghosting me when he first left. How should I handle this? Thank you so much for your letter, Daphne. Wow. Okay. So it's a couple things to break down here. I absolutely get your frustration because the thing that stuck out to me about this letter is the fact that he didn't have that energy when it was you. And so you said you traveled domestically, so you were still in the States. But the fact that you blowing up my shit while I'm out of town, like, and you don't got that energy, and then you are looking at his WhatsApp and it's telling you this is the last time that he's logged in. So you see that he's logging in. He has to have service in order to be logging in order for you to see that. So, and he's posted on Instagram. So I do find it a little bit odd that he's doing this. The fact that y'all were all over each other before, and then he's even all over you when you're out of town, but trying to do his own thing when he's out of the country, I gotta side eye it. Like, I gotta side eye it. I've been out the country multiple times, and like, I mean, I wasn't in a relationship at the time, but people that I knew that were in relationships or checking in with people, like, I talked to my family maybe every other day, or just sent them a quick message when I did have Wi-Fi. But the fact that he's checking the apps and like not hitting you up, but he is on your case any other time, it's just suspect to me, and I don't like it at all. Um, However, you made it clear that communication is important to you and whatever the case may be. It sounds like you don't even like the fact that this once a week thing existed in the first place. Um, and so my only advice would really be, or my issue is, like, I feel like you should have advocated in the beginning. Like, it sounds like you want to be talking to him. Like, for me, I would be okay with that. Like, depending on how, in depth it is. But you said y'all were all up under each other before, he left or whatever. But if you set a standard with me and you set a boundary, hey, you're gonna hear from me X amount of time while I'm out. Like, if you set that boundary with me, I would be okay. Now, the once a week thing would still be a problem for me, at least for me. It sounds like you want things to be like they were when you were out of town, or even when y'all are together. Y'all all over each other 24/7. I don't think that's really fair, but I don't think that's fair that he did that to you either. Like, I don't think it's fair when someone's out the country to, like, be all up on their phone, or even out of town, just to be all up on their phone. Like, I want to enjoy the scenery. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And so I just don't think that's fair to expect it. Like I said, it sounds like you want the same communication as you guys had before he left. And I don't think that's fair to expect when someone is out the country. But I do think that, the fact that he's logging in would also piss me off because it's like, what are you doing? If you're logging in, just say hey, or just say thinking of you. Like, it's really not that hard, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. And so I don't know why he kind of made it complicated even further. And, when you were out of town and he's all up on your case, like, to me, you set the standard at that point. Like, when I'm out of town, you're gonna be all up on my line. So I actually am not mad that you wanted things to go to be normal, to be what they were, because he kind of set that standard when you were out of town. When you were out of town, he was on your ass. But now that he out of town, it's like, you're only gonna hear from me once a week. Like, excuse the fuck out of you. Like, I think it's fair to set a boundary, like, I'll text you every other day, or we'll, let's pick up the phone. If he said let's pick up the phone and talk once a week, I think that would be fair. But, like, to not hear from him at all, like, that would piss me the fuck off. Like, for real. But I do think that when he said that, in the first place, and set that boundary in the first place, I do think that, you should have advocated for yourself a little bit more and just said, like, I think that once a week, like, is very, very limiting. Like, I don't know his situation, but if he got enough Wi-Fi to be on Instagram and on WhatsApp, like, I think that you should have been clear, like, I don't really expect things to change much. So, while you're out of town, hit me up as much as you can. But it just feels a little bit sneaky to me that he said, you're going to hear from me one time a week while I'm gone. Like, I just don't like that at all. But just for future reference, like I really do think that it is important that, you say that communication is important to you, and he should know that. And he should know that, you're setting the standard, because I just have a strong feeling if you were to go out of town when he gets back, that and you kind of did to him what he did to you, he would have a big issue with that. Like, and that's what is irritating to me about this situation. Like, it's cool for you to do this when I'm out of town, but it's not cool for me to hit you up. So you kind of let me know up front, you ain't gonna be hearing from me, and I don't fuck with that at all. I think that when he gets back, and then you said you're kind of being short with him right now. Like, I wouldn't be pissy with him leaving. You said he get back in a couple of weeks. Like, I wouldn't be pissy with him every time I talk to him. You said he has stepped it up a little bit, so that's cool and all. But I don't like this. You guys are not in a relationship though, so I do want to kind of hit on that part. At least you didn't say you were. Like, you said you guys been, dating for 2 months or whatever. So you didn't say that you guys were in an exclusive relationship, but like, there would need to be a conversation had when he got back. Like, you're saying that you want to make him pay, and you're saying that you're kind of keeping it short with him right now. Like, it's obvious that you're upset, and I absolutely think that you have a right to be upset. The problem is he did tell you from the beginning what it was. And so, he is sticky, because he did tell you before he left, you're going to hear from me once a week, and he has been abiding to that boundary. And so once you started noticing, oh, you online, so why am I not hearing from you? I think that I think that he knew that he would be able to be online. He just knew that he wasn't trying to be like all up under you, or have you be all up under him like he be all up under you. And so I think that he laid out that boundary just to tell you this is what it's going to be. And you said he made it seem like it was going to be due to the fact that he didn't have service. But I really think he was just saying that because it's like, I don't want you, like, not to be harsh, but like, I don't want you like bothering me while I'm, out of the country and doing my thing. Like, I think that was a part of it. And he did tell you that this is what it was and this is what it was going to be. So I do think that at that time, that was for you to say, this ain't gonna work for me, this little once a week thing. And so I get why you're frustrated, because you thought that the once a week rule was because he wasn't going to be able to. And when all things were said and done, it's almost as if he just didn't want to. But he is meeting that boundary. He is hitting you up, and he said he's going to commit to hitting you up even more. I'm of the school of thought that you need to accept or reject behavior. Like, and after y'all got past that first conversation, he knew you were upset, he apologized, whatever the case may be, and y'all kind of moved on. Like, and he's kind of been stepping up. I just think that a conversation needs to be had when he gets back. You talk about you want to make him pay, and I just think that's kind of petty. But I would step back from the situation, because this has only been going on for 2 months. And I get it. He's a great guy. The sex is good. Conversation is great. But 2 months is not a long time. So, and I'm assuming that you guys are not dating exclusively. So I'm just going to give that advice with that in mind. But my thing is, when he gets back, I would probably fall back just a little bit, because I just don't like the inconsistency. Like, it's cool for you to be on my shit, but it's not cool for me to be on yours while you out of town. And then I would just pull back a little bit, because like, it sounds like y'all were very, very caked up beforehand, and he just kind of drew a line in the sand, like, nah, when I'm out of the country, I'm doing me, boo. And if he's a single man, you can't be mad about that. Like, if y'all are just dating and not dating exclusively, you can't be mad about that. But for y'all to continue dating, when he gets back, there absolutely needs to be a conversation about what your expectations are. Like, I have a strong feeling that he's going to go right back to doing exactly what he was doing when he gets back. Like, I have a strong feeling that everything is going to go right the fuck back to normal. Like, he's going to be on your case 24/7. Like, but you need to make it clear, like, if this is his home country, like, he's probably going to go back again. You need to set that boundary for yourself and just be like, look, when you said we're only going to talk once a week. I thought it was because of this. And then when I saw you online, that frustrated me because it's like, why aren't you hitting me up? Even though that wasn't our agreement, even though you said that you were going to hit me up once a week and you did meet those, I guess weekly goals, I still don't get why, you didn't hit me up. And for me, and for the nature and the trajectory that this has been going on, I feel like, you should have communicated with me a lot more. And so I think that you would need to have a conversation with him about the fact that this isn't going to fly for me. And like I said, you have to accept or reject the behavior. Either you're going to let this rock when well, you're not, because you already said you want to make him pay. But you said you want to make him pay, but you still want to be with him. So it's like, either you're going to let him rock with getting past this, or you're going to acknowledge like this can't happen again. I think it's really important that you give people a chance to correct their behavior and you work your way through a miscommunication, because that's really all this was a miscommunication. I do just find it a little bit shady, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he did tell you it'll be once a week, and you didn't tell him whenever you got Wi-Fi your ass need to be hitting me up, because that's basically what it came down to. You saw his ass was online and you're like, oh, you can be online but you can't talk to me. But I feel your frustration, girl. I really, really, I would have that sit down conversation with him. I personally would pull back because I would feel a little bit rejected. I see why you felt ghosted at first, but a lot of this was based off of an assumption that, oh, well, when he's online, he's going to hit me up. You know what I mean? And maybe in his mind, it is early. And it's like, for him, I mean, y'all not in a relationship. And I told her, I'm going to keep in communication with you. But while I'm out of town, it is what it is. Maybe he feels that way, and that's just for you to kind of muddle through with him when he gets back. But I would pull back just a little bit. I wouldn't be all up under him. I wouldn't be talking to him 24/7 like y'all are doing. Like, I would have to pull back, but but that's just me. Like, I can't be 100% with you like I was before when you didn't knock me back a couple percentages doing this shit. So have that conversation with him, get past the communication aspect, make it clear, like, I don't date men who don't communicate with me. And so, if that doesn't work for you, I need to know. Don't tell him, well, if you ain't gonna be, hitting me up while you out of the country, we can't make this work. You know what I mean? Like, don't threaten him, but just make it clear. Advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself and just make it clear. I feel like you should have, been on my line. Just like you've been X, Y, and Z time. I don't understand what was different about this, especially since I saw you online multiple times. A man who doesn't communicate with me on a regular basis is not going to work for me. And so, is that something that's going to be an issue for you? Give him a chance to acknowledge if that's going to be an issue for him or not. And you have to be prepared for him to say, when I'm out the country, I'm doing my thug thizzle and I don't want to be all up on your line. Like, you do need to be prepared for the answer. But just based on the fact that he all kicked up with you before y'all left and be all up on your line, I think he's going to come back and everything's going to come back to normal. But it really is important that you do advocate for yourself. So good luck, Miss Daphne. And thank you for writing in. Now it's time for our trivia. Super excited. I love trivia. One day I'm going to get a trivia theme song. Not today. If you want to make my trivia theme song, hit me up. But until then, you're going to have me singing off key about how much I love trivia. So, this week's trivia is: the average courtship for marriages of people who met online was blank months, as opposed to 42 months for those who met offline. So basically the question is, how long do people date before marriage who met online versus 42 months for people who met offline? The option is A, 61 months, B, 49 months, C, 33 months, or D, 18 months. You will have to listen to next week's episode to get the answer. All right, guys, it's time to wrap up the show. But before I close, I promised. I don't remember when I said this, but at some point last week, I said I would try Clubhouse. So meet me on Clubhouse tonight. The show is dropping December 30th. Tonight at 6:30 p.m. I'm gonna be on Clubhouse. Go to the Instagram to get the deets. But yeah, I'm gonna be on Clubhouse tonight, so I'm gonna do the thing. So meet me on Clubhouse. Thanks again, guys, for listening. Thank you so much again for 1,000 downloads. And continue to like the show, review, comment, rate, subscribe, the whole nine. Make sure to share the show. Thanks again, and Happy New Year!